good evening and a warm welcome to State of Business on NAT Television. I am Savindrija Vardhana. Let's look at the top stories for the day. Reports show a slight decrease in migration in last year compared to 2018. CA immediate outgoing president explains how accountants should brace to any challenge. News in detail. Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment says that the total number of female migrant workers for last year is more than 80,000 and that it accounts for 40% of total migrations. Accordingly, the report of the Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment further notes that total number of male migrant workers for 2019 is 122,143. Thus, as a whole, 203,141 individuals have migrated in search of jobs last year. Meanwhile, most number of female migrant workers have gone to Kuwait last year, accounting for 30,031, while most number of male migrant workers have travelled to Qatar. On the other hand, 9,041 professionals have migrated last year, while 62,687 trained workers have migrated last year. The report also shows that 61,603 female domestic workers have migrated to foreign countries last year. Pertaining to the numbers in 2018, 211,229 have migrated in search of jobs, and there is a decrease in the same numbers last year. The state of Qatar pledges to aid Sri Lanka in establishing a reliable network for clean energy production along with a consortium of top-notch companies in energy sector for the purpose. Qatar State Minister for Energy Affairs Saad Sharid Al-Kaabi made this pledge when he called on President Gotabaya Rajapaksa at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday. During the discussions with the visiting minister Saad Sharida Al-Kaabi, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that he was keen in securing Qatari cooperation in the area of energy generation. He also said that his plan was to meet 80% of the country's energy requirements from sources of renewable energy in the future. The Qatari minister mentioned that his country has successfully established such ventures in several countries, including Pakistan and Poland. Meanwhile, President Rajapaksa stressed that he wishes to enhance bilateral cooperation with the state of Qatar beyond energy production and that Sri Lanka needs markets for its tea, organic vegetables and fruits since the country has a vast potential to supply such produce to other countries. Subsequently, Ambassador for the State of Qatar in Colombo, Jazim bin Jaber Al Sarur, Minister of External Relations Dinesh Gunawardena and the State Minister Susi Premachand were also present at the meeting. UNP's Colombo District Parliamentarian Hirnika Premachand says that almost all the politicians are very good friends irrespective to their parties. Addressing a media briefing yesterday at the opposition leader's office, the parliamentarian said that PTL owners and the former Central Bank Governor Arjun Mahendran are good friends of the politicians and not a single politician will be arrested or penalized over the bond scam. All of them are good friends. You journalists and people see only the verbal fights taking place inside the chamber. You have never seen how they embrace each other at the parliament corridors after the sessions. At the cafeteria, they laugh at general masses. They mock at you voting for them again and again. The reality is they are good friends, especially the leaders. None of them will ever be penalized. People of this country must open their eyes. I reiterate, they are very best friends. No one will be arrested for the bond scam. Stay tuned for more news right after this break. Welcome back after the break. Former Foreign Secretary and former Governor of the Northern Province HMGS Palihakar explains why the dialogue of non-proliferation of nuclear weapons is crucial to Sri Lanka, even though Sri Lanka is not a viable nuclear aspirant. He made these observations attending the launch of 3 translations of treaties related to non-proliferation of nuclear weapons organized by the Forum on Disarmament and Development.
Even if Sri Lanka is not a nuclear aspirant, that we don't harbor the aspiration of becoming a nuclear power, either civil or military, any use of nuclear weapons or any abuse of nuclear material in our region, either by states or by non-state players, could devastate our people's lives, not to speak of property and economic costs. Since there is no conceivable defense against such attacks or even nuclear accidents, the only prudent way to ensure our security, the security of such smaller countries, is to help build international regimes to prevent nuclear war and achieve, hopefully, a world which does not place a premium on nuclear weapons for security.
Meanwhile, German Ambassador John Rode also graced the occasion of the launch of the translations of the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons and the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty to the Sinhala and Tamil languages funded by the German Federal Foreign Office. The ambassador added that the availability of treaty texts in the vernacular languages will raise awareness not only among academia but in the general public for a wider discussion and understanding of the implications of a nuclearized world and the need for non-proliferation of nuclear weapons.
It's important to spread the news also in the wider public so that it doesn't remain an academic discussion only among some few, because the effects of nuclear destruction are horrible and can affect us all. I'm also very happy that these three translations are a German-Sri Lankan cooperation. Two of the books were financed by the German Foreign Ministry. New challenges to our common security and constant technological developments create the need to continuously strengthen and update international regimes. I strongly believe it is only by working together and through a global consensus the danger of the use of nuclear weapons can be contained and prevented in the future. Therefore, it's very timely to continue to raise awareness of this persistent threat.
Former President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka, Jagat Pereira, highlights that the professional accountants should attain the skill to learn, unlearn and relearn in order to adapt to the future challenges of the career. He made these remarks as the outgoing president at the induction of the 25th President of CS Sri Lanka held last week.
The challenges that we face as accounting profession, I classify into three areas: technologically, regulatory and globalization. We are experiencing already fourth industrial revolution. We need to embrace the technology and digitization. Audit and accountancy professions are challenged by the regulators. We need to have continuous updates. The fabric of globalization is covering across the board all the industries. Accounting and auditing profession is not going to be an exception. Therefore, every time we meet, I used to tell the members one statement, and I am going to repeat at this distinguished forum: learn, unlearn, and relearn. What you learned yesterday may not be sufficient now. We need to unlearn and relearn. We need to upscale and make sure our members are ready to take the future challenges.
Meanwhile, addressing the induction of the 25th President of CS Sri Lanka as the chief guest, President of International Federation of Accountants, Dr. In Ki Ju, extensively explained 7 key roles of the accountants.
I'd like to see the 7 emerging roles for accountants. First, co-pilot. Co-pilots lead strategically, facilitate change, and influence people and decisions. Second, navigator. Navigators steer organization toward value creation and sustained profitability by providing actionable insight. Third, brand protector. Brand protectors manage the organization and its reputation through stewardship of tangible and intangible assets and financial, non-financial performance. Fourth, the storyteller. Storytellers enlighten all stakeholders on the organization's narrative, how it creates value over time, and opportunities and challenges it faces. Fifth, digital and technology enabler. These people drive businesses to use data to make decisions and grow. Sixth, process and control expert. These experts drive efficient and effective end processes and workflows across an organization. Finally, seventh, trusted professional. They challenge the organization and themselves with professional objectivity, and they live the ethical principles of professional accountancy.
Stay tuned for stock updates right after this break. Welcome back after the break. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The all-share price index dropped 56.66 points to close at 5,934.63 and the S&P SL20 dropped 39.58 points to close at 2,843.43. The turnover was 181 million rupees and over 14 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. And with that, we will wrap up today's news. Don't forget to send us your views and comments via our email address and our hotline. We'll be signing out for today and see you tomorrow. Until then, take care and good night.